material defect cannot act in any way. So in other words, we have two different standards. We have a standard for the impersonalists, and we have a standard for the pure devotees. The impersonalists are understood to actually be materialists. And as such, they're going to be engaged in all kinds of material activities. They may talk about spiritual life, you know, and they may give some glib philosophy. And they may even imitate some of the activities of the devotees. But we also see that they engage in material sense gratification, that they're very envious of the pure devotees, that they simply imitate the devotees, and then they go off and they do some really nasty things. But on the other hand, we see that sometimes a pure devotee will have an accidental fall down, or they'll make some mistake, or they may have a little bit of material contamination left over from the previous activities or something like that. But this is not at all considered a problem. Why? Because their intention is pure. Their heart is in the right place. They are sincere. See? They're trying to please the Lord. They're trying to please Krishna. They're trying to serve their guru, and they're trying to learn the philosophy and apply it as best that they can. See, the impersonalists are often very hypocritical. They'll say, oh yes, I love Krishna, yes, Krishna is great, and Krishna is God, and all this stuff. But then within their heart, they're thinking, and I'm going to merge with him. Or, yes, Krishna is God, and I am one with him. See? Krishna is God, and everything is one. This is hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy. They're thinking one thing on the inside and saying a different thing on the outside. So we don't accept this. We don't accept. On the other hand, a devotee who is 100% sincere, he may simply have some material weakness or material defect, or he may be attached to certain habits that he just can't overcome right away. It may take some time. But because his intention is in the right place, Krishna accepts his service. See? So we go by a person's intention. We go by a person's lack of hypocrisy. See, we have to evaluate people. You know, anybody who says, "Oh, you shouldn't be judgmental," you know, they're crazy. We should be judgmental in the sense that we evaluate people. Otherwise, we don't know who we're going to associate with. And association is a very powerful influence in our life. If we associate with good people, then we accept or we absorb all their qualities. And if we associate with bad people, then we become just like them after a while. So we should be very careful who we associate with, and we should analyze and evaluate people according to the value of their association. You see? So if someone is, you know, a very sincere person, a very truthful person, even though they may have some defect, we would rather associate with people like that than people who are apparently very intelligent, very, you know, erudite and learned, but they're hypocrites. See? That's the meaning here. That's the meaning. Not that we expect devotees to be completely 100% perfect. Nobody's 100% perfect. Everyone has some limitations because we're human beings. We're in the material world. Everyone has some faults, you know. Just because I'm a spiritual master, it doesn't mean that I know how to solve Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? That's a different kind of expertise. That's a different kind of knowledge. Being a spiritual master means that we know the science of consciousness and the science of devotional service. It means that we have realized Krishna and that Krishna has visited us and accepted our service. It means that we were ordered by our spiritual master to become spiritual master. And so simply we're following that order. you see. But if someone artificially declares themselves as spiritual master and they have no authorization and they have no real realization and they have no real knowledge of the intricacies of the science of consciousness and devotional service, then what is the meaning of that? They may have a whole organization and they may have a rubber stamp by some committee and they may have, you know, a lot of money and a lot of power and this and that, and they may be very good with politics and very tricky and everything like that. But that's not the spiritual master. Spiritual master doesn't necessarily know about politics, except he knows he wants to stay away from it. So try to understand. A spiritual master is not going to be like a perfect Hollywood hero type. He's not going to be like, you know, Superman. He's not going to be like perfect in every respect. Just like the moon has some spots on it, but still the moon is brighter than any other star. So you can't say, oh, I don't accept the moon because it has a few spots. The moon still outshines all the other stars. So try to understand. Devotee means someone whose intention is right, whose intention is pure. If your intention is pure, you can become self-realized in one lifetime. You see? But if someone commits an offense, then they can fall down. And it's described, it's like the waning moon. When the moon is full, it's very bright. And then gradually over a period of 2 weeks, it becomes all nothing. You can't even see it. So similarly, a person may be very prominent devotee, but if they commit an offense, especially a serious offense, at the lotus feet of a devotee, and especially of their guru, then they can fall down and their devotion can become nothing. We've seen this happen many times. So be careful. Try to associate with pure devotees, but also try to avoid any offenses of those devotees. It's good to keep a little distance, keep a little formality. You know, that's why we bow down to each other every day. You see the devotees here in the morning, they bow down to each other. Vanche kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhu bhyevacha. They appreciate one another's association. They don't take it for granted. You see? And if there are any offenses, they clear them. If there are any problems, we talk it over until it's all cleared up. You see? And that way we avoid association. I'm sorry, we avoid offenses in our association. So we want to be like that. We want to be a little bit formal, a little bit reserved, a little bit distant, not too familiar with other devotees, so that we don't accidentally create offenses. It doesn't matter even if we don't intend to make an offense, but if we do make an offense, this puts an obstacle in the road of our spiritual path. So anyway, we should ask for questions now and see if there's any discussion on these points. Any questions from the audience?
No, not yet.
No questions. Well, these things are actually pretty straightforward. It's amazing, though, that sometimes people can't tell when somebody is being sincere and when they're hypocritical. You know, sometimes the people are very good at pretending to be a devotee.
Hare Krishna. One question. What is the difference between pure devotee who has some spots versus mixed devotional service?
Well, it is in the intention. A pure devotee, his intention is only to serve Krishna. And if he does some other activity by accident, or without intending to do it, by habit, by force of circumstances, maybe. That's not to be counted as a fall down. But a mixed devotee, he has a split intention. His intention is divided between serving Krishna and getting some personal reward. Either, material enjoyment, sense gratification, wealth, knowledge, mystic powers. Usually it's either karma, jnana, or yoga. And of course, the most common one is sense gratification. So it is in the difference is in the attitude. The difference is in the motivation, the intention